Just in the last hour, President Joe Biden has addressed the nation from the White House behind me, echoing calls for unity we've seen from right across the political spectrum in the day or so since the attempted assassination, and importantly, ordering a step up in security ahead of this week's Republican National Convention in Wisconsin. Now, we are learning that Mr. Trump is still expected to attend that convention. He will formally accept his party's nomination as the nominee for President of the United States. He's doing this, of course, after he was shot in the ear by a gunman.
Here's what we're going to do. First, Mr. Trump, as a former president and nominee of the Republican Party, already receives a heightened level of security. And I've been consistent in my direction to the Secret Service to provide him with every resource, capability, and protective measure necessary to ensure his continued safety. Second, I've directed the head of the Secret Service to review all security measures for the Republican National Convention, which is scheduled to start tomorrow. And third, I've directed an independent review of the national security at yesterday's rally to assess exactly what happened. And we'll share the results of that independent review with the American people as well.
US President Joe Biden speaking from the White House a short time ago. Very good morning to you, Lisa and Bridge. And America is still convulsed by those horrific scenes we saw at that rally in Butler, Pennsylvania yesterday, the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. And as we heard there from Mr. Biden, that last bit, that is one of the key themes today. Serious questions being asked as to how this shooter, this 20-year-old with very clearly an assault-style weapon, managed to get within 150 metres of a presidential candidate and a former president, no less.
That's right, Michael. As you say, those investigations into that massive security failure beginning immediately. Plenty of questions to be answered about that, but also just talk to us about the scale of this. I mean, political violence has been a feature unfortunately, in American political debates over many decades, but really not for 40 years or so have we seen an attempted assassination on a former or current president, like what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, and that goes to the nub of the calls we are seeing from right across the political spectrum, echoed just recently here at the White House by Joe Biden today. Political leaders, former presidents, world leaders, including our Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, saying they hope that the political temperature, the exceedingly high political temperature in this especially robust, volatile presidential campaign is now dialed down a bit. We heard earlier from Karl Rove, who was George W. Bush's chief strategist. He says America can now go two ways. One way, that this is, in his words, one and done. This is isolated and nothing happens further. Or we enter to a period you're talking about, Bridge, going back 40 years ago to the attempted assassination of Ronald Reagan in this city, and even further back to that volatile period in the 1960s, kicked off in 1963 by the assassination of then President John F. Kennedy. So a lot of unsettled Americans out there today.